Welcome, 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 welcome. It's Hump Day Wednesday. It's your girl, Miss J, live on Be Exposed Radio at the Sugar Shack. How's everyone doing today? Mr. Romy just stepped in. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Mr. Monty is over there behind the wall. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
That's good. Ms. Versatile will be calling in via phone.
No, she won't.
And
No, she won't. She won't be sitting on this phone all day.
so...
Burning up minutes. No.
Excuse Monty.
We'll talk at the break.
Thank you. So, how was your day, honey?
Interesting. Very interesting.
That's good. How was it interesting?
I've just seen a lot of different sites and learned a lot of different things today about people I thought I was close with.
So some things really happened today, huh?
Yeah, a lot of skeletons came out the closet.
It doesn't take long.
Not at all.
And especially on a Hump Day Wednesday, that's when you really find out some things. Because it's the middle of the week. And on that note, we have some special guests calling in for Hump Day Wednesday pertaining to that. Because we're going to piggyback off of our At the Sugar Shack question of the day of yesterday, but we were discussing about family and fighting, and it was really interesting what you were telling about your story. So, excuse me. So at the Sugar Shack question of the day that I posted was family members meddling in your business. Are they being supportive or are they being messy?
It's 50-50. It depends on the level. Like, if you're on the level where Mama Joyce is, now you're being messy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on the level where Mama D is, you're being messy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're, just being supportive, then you know your boundaries of this is still his relationship. I'll let him do his own thing. But I'll still be there to guide him and give him support and advice.
Well, the question, that's why I jumped into it when we first came on right now, because you see a lot of people watch reality TV. So a lot of people look at it on a daily basis when it comes on. They either watch it live or they DVR it or whatever. And you see the level of so-called supportiveness and so-called messy behavior. So as a mother or a father, how involved, let's say we're talking about a relationship of their offspring and somebody coming in that they don't like. So, of course, a parent is going to be overbearing. Some are not. That no one is good enough for their child. So, the question of being supportive, they might not bring the person around immediately because they know how their family is. So, because they know how their family is, that person is going to be basically a secret.
Yeah, secluded.
And secluded away from the family, and you only know them by name as a whisper. Oh, such and such. Well, when are you going to bring them around? You get that. So,
when the time's right.
Yeah. So when they finally do come around, that's when the 20 questions, 30 questions, 40 questions, 50 questions come around of why are you with my son or my daughter? So, and with that being said, that's a lot of people might take that as some type of offense coming into a situation that why do they want to know about me so much? Then when you get the messy behavior of the mother who is up in the business, got keys, walking up in unannounced,
Wanting to stay the night,
wanting to go on dates,
wanting to know where he work at, what time he get off, like what's in his bank account, like wait a minute.
Exactly. So that causes a lot of friction, and we would love to hear from you. Give us a call at 1-855-835-5857 extension 1, or you can text us at 443-642-9403. So how many messy situations have you been?
With family?
Mm-hmm.
None. Which is the good. I've had one close And that's when I first came out to my family. And I have 3 older cousins who are like big brothers to me. So in their eyes, they don't see me as a cousin. They see me as the youngest of them. And when I first came out, it was a shock to them. And when I first brought my partner at the time around, it was a whole lot of threats going on. But
why?
because they wasn't accepting at the time. I was 18, fresh out. I just wanted to let the world know. And they wasn't ready. But now we talk. It's cool. But that was my only family situation. I've never had a problem with my mom meeting any of my lovers.
Wow. See, I've never had that situation of meddlesome in my relationships. I mean, I've discussed it with my family or my cousins about situations or my sister, but they've never in your face, I'm going to smack you up, run you over with the car type of behavior or anything like that. No, they wouldn't do that. Well, it depends.
I've been in a situation where my partner parents didn't approve of me off of stuff that we were going through in our relationship, and he was talking to them about it. So based off of that, before they met me, it was already a pretty standard assumption about me.
So how did that make you feel?
Everybody, you guys are on the radio, so you guys need to talk into your mics because that's how radio works.
Sorry about that. That's better?
Thank you, Monty.
You're welcome.
You could have waved.
Monty.
You could have waved. You could have waved. Thank you.
He was sitting in District 6. Talking that way towards the window. You were sitting you were in your district, but you were at the corner store when you should have been at the station. So,
what a metaphor.
So, how did you react?
It made me feel weird at first, but at the end of the day, I was still with him, so.
So with the family already with a pretense of they didn't like you because, see, the thing is, when you fight with the family, the only thing that does is make the person closer to the person they don't want you to be with.
The rebellious stage.
Yes. So it doesn't matter what age you are, because the family, in their eyes, they know better and they see more than what you see. But all the time, that's not the case. So with that being said, voicing your opinion of, I don't like him. But this is something that my grandmother always said, and I always live by this. If you like it, I love it. So if you like whatever the situation is, then I'm going to stand back and I'm going to love it. So until it gets to a personal space situation, meaning no physical activity is involved, then I'm going to stay out of it.
Right.
Because the more you inject yourself into another person's personal relationship, the more they push you away, the more they're going to go the opposite direction. So, once again, give us a call, 1-855-835-5857, extension 1, or you can text us at 443-642-9403. Happy Hump Day.
Hey.
Happy Hump Day. So we have 2 great guests calling in today. We have Dr. Joy Oheya. She's a PhD. She has a book, Don't Let It Get You, an empowering health and fitness guide for women, which we all need.
Yes, we do.
Because we all need to get our mind right and our body right. I know I do. You need to get your mind right and your body right?
Yes, immediately.
Monty, do you need to get your mind right and your body right?
Sometimes.
It can't be sometimes. What do you mean sometimes?
Sometimes I'm completely on point and sometimes I'm not.
Oh my God.
So then it's a 50-50 with you.
It can't be a 50-50.
He's not even listening.
It cannot be a 50-50.
Trying to work.
Oh.
You know what? And then, has anyone had an issue with pineal gland dysfunction?
Not at all.
Why did you do that? Because we have author Michael Russer calling in, who's written a book about this. So this would be a very interesting topic. Can't wait to hear about the pineal gland and the dysfunction in the male being, so to speak. So no one really had a problem, honestly?
I've never had a family problem, as of yet.
No, I was talking about the pineal gland.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Oh, so Monty, have you had any family members getting in the midst of your lover and you?
Of course not.
Why?
Why would they do something like that?
Because people care, and some care a little too much.
Oh, please. I think everybody in my family knows their place when it comes to me.
And see, that's the thing. You have to know your place. What, when, and how. So...
Because but it also stems because I've never needed anything from them. And I don't ask them for anything. I don't call them. I mean, stuff like that,
See, there's a difference between meddling and caring.
Yeah. But I also don't need you to care at that level. Now, when it comes to my relationship life,
So you can't...
because whatever you say doesn't really matter. It's what I feel and how I end it that matters.
Well, love is a great energy. So if a person loves you, they're going to inject their opinion.
See, that's the problem right there. You can't inject. You can relay. You can give information. But you injecting yourself in my relationship will be the problem.
Where most family members do. They
Exactly.
inject themselves
That's why it's a
because
problem.
they feel as though they have that right to
They
because
don't. It's not your
they
right.
care.
That's not your right.
And
you
that's
have the
the
right to
difference.
vote in the general election.
And that's where the difference between meddling and caring comes into play, where most people can't distinguish the two.
Right.
And-
But I'm here to let them know the difference between you being able to give me information or even being able to give advice when asked. Only when asked, though, because I don't
Only
need you
when
to give
asked.
unsolicited advice.
Well, meddling includes butting in, interfering,
Unsolicited.
intruding.
Unsolicited.
Most people
I can't.
run.
That is
If you-
completely unsolicited.
I feel like if you give people that grain, like if you ask them one question for an opinion, they take that and run.
Oh, but then you
At
have
times.
to make sure you shut them down. Advice time is over. Question and answer time, it's done.
Right.
Your time has been expended.
Well-
Now the relationship has, move on.
Well, true. So meddling could look like a scenario of judging, making statements or asking questions that are not a solution or oriented, offering unsolicited advice for free
Right.
without going to see a therapist.
Exactly.
Caring means no judgment, solution-oriented statements and questions,
Usually
offering
comes off
advice only when it's asked.
Right. Exactly.
So the difference between the two is
Solicited and unsolicited.
solicited and unsolicited. But the person that is voicing their opinion is the one they have to differentiate the two. But like I said, if they're in a caring relationship with you, only thing they see is my family member is hurt, da 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 da,
Yeah.
or
I don't tolerate that kind of stuff. I don't need you to. What are you doing? It's not like you're going to pick me up like a baby and throw me over your shoulder. I'm, you know, I don't need that kind of coddling.
So why do you think people meddle?
Because they don't have anything else to do in their lives. They really don't. They're lonely. Some of them are lonely.
Bitter.
Some of them want what you have. Some of them express their want for the same type of relationship through your relationship. So that's overcasting into my relationship. What you think your relationship would be like if it was yours. And if some people don't think that person that you're in a relationship with is good enough for you.
What I was
So
saying
in
earlier.
return with that, by you not thinking that, you can't end a relationship for me. Whether you like it or not, it's still up to the partners in the relationship to end the cycle. You can give your advice when asked. Again, when asked. No unsolicited advice is accepted. And then you can incorporate that into your mental thought on what is wrong with your relationship and how can I fix it or how can I end it. But unsolicited advice is always what makes friends become a benefit, and that's how the distance starts.
Exactly. And people love drama. That's like flashing lights. People love drama.
Right.
So the more drama that's being brought to the situation, the more is going to be filtered out among other people.
And I don't do drama.
And that's how everybody
I
know
love to
your
watch
business.
drama, and I love to talk about drama, but I'm not going to be in drama.
There is a difference. Everybody
Major
loves a
difference.
little drama. And you're
Yeah, that-
lying if you say that you don't.
Right. I'm just not going to be in it.
No, I don't like being in drama. I try
I'll
to
watch it all day. Love and hip hop, I'll watch it sometimes because it's a drama. CDJ's a crackhead. Did you hear that? Oh.
Cocaine. Heroin. Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, if we're going to run on that, we should run on this as well.
So, is all the skeletons coming out the closet? Wait a minute. Are you serious? She didn't.
I hope she didn't. My link wouldn't let me open.
It's saying Oprah post bail for the sexy felon, Jeremy Meeks.
Oprah did?
It's not just out of 10, it's a hoax story, but when it came across me,
What is it on?
beempire.com.
Never heard of it.
Empire News, I'm sorry.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay. So, back to what we were saying. So, how do a person of interest to you stop meddling and start caring?
Yeah, see, I'm sorry, just to go back, because I can tell this is a fake story, because when you click on Empire Net, when you search for it, the first thing that comes on is unborn baby pregnant.
Oh, okay. Moving on.
Seriously? Come on.
Of all things.
Unborn baby pregnant while still inside the womb.
But can you imagine if Oprah really did pay his bill?
No, because she wouldn't put herself in that situation.
I can see her doing it, though, for ratings. For OWN. I
Intimate
can see
Stepman
that.
Mad.
And then a reality show based around him getting out of the gang life.
And then he gonna be on Tyler Perry upcoming movies.
I can see that. But I don't believe this. I think this is a parody site.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
Let's look into terms.
That's why it's not
conditions
letting me click on it, probably.
About and disclaimer. Empire News is a satirical and entertainment website. We only used invented names in all our stories, except in cases when public figures are being satirized. Any other use of real names is accidental or coincidental. So yeah, it's a satire site. Completely fake.
Fake. And so, back to what we were saying.
About Stevie J and the cocaine.
Now that's true.
And the heroin. And the child support. And the style. That's good. I feel like they're doing this now for ratings for the next
I was
season of
getting
Love
ready
and
to
Hip
say,
Hop.
because this is going to continue.
Cut it off.
Cut it off.
This is going to continue into next season.
The air conditioner.
Oh,
And
Where you going? Cut the air conditioner off.
oh, the egg is.
you have to do signs, please.
I did. I did. Can you cut the air conditioner off?
They cut it off.
Yeah.
What did you just do?
Hello.
You have to turn it off on the switch on the air conditioner. Oh my gosh, never mind. Go ahead, Miss J. I'm sorry.
That was off.
So, caring versus meddling. Was that caring or was that meddling you just did?
That was ludicrous. That's the only word I could use for that.
So, between the caring and the meddling, as I was saying. So, being a parent or being of a close relationship to a family, as I said, you're not going to let someone stand by and get hurt. You're going to give just a little tiny bit of an opinion. Just a little bit. Just because you can. Now, whether or not that person accepts it, that's something different. Which more than likely they won't. Because they're into the person that they're into.
Right.
So they're not going to receive it. They're more going to look at it as, oh, they're just trying to tell me what to do. Versus loving and caring affection. So, with Miss Monty, what's going on over there? Oh, okay. So, as I said, we have our guest calling in. Dr. Joy Oyai will be calling shortly. I can't wait for that. And we have a great guest lined up for next week. I cannot wait, even though it's a holiday weekend next weekend. 4th of July.
4th of July.
Yes. Are you excited? You got plans?
No.
No?
It's my sister's birthday.
Okay.
Sometime next week, so.
You got plans, Monty?
I want to go to the beach.
Where everyone will be. So, we will be back.
You get 3 minutes. Huh? Text me.
We love money.
3 minutes to the break.
Okay. I wanted to.
So,
Thank
with
you.
that 3 minutes, I'll talk about the Stevie J.
Okay.
You're killing me right now. I wanted to step away.
Step away. Talk.
I was waiting for you to tell me about Stevie J.
Oh my God.
I'll pull it up.
Okay.
So, Stevie J.
So tell us about Stevie J, since I'm locked in my 2 minutes.
Stephen Jordan, which is well known to everyone as Stevie J, was recently. Oh, my story just went away.
So he is doing cocaine. He is doing not paying child support. He's sleeping around. He's claiming money that he really doesn't have. So basically, he's fake.
Basically.
Okay.
I feel as though it's all for the next season. they are running out of storylines. Morning Scott don't have nothing else to work on. So I feel as though the next season is going to is going to be based around Stevie J mainly. Like how they're trying to make this season about Mimi and the sex tape.
Now, I wanted to piggyback off because I was watching the other day, and do you think she's a little overrated with the... I think he leaked the tape myself because he just seems a little thirsty with the money idea.
She's just dumb. I'm sorry. I'm putting it out there. Mimi is dumb.
I wouldn't say dumb.
She said something Monday that really opened up my eyes to about her. She said, I like what I like. Basically, she liked men to dog her.
Well, hopefully that's not what she was implying, but as the conversation was the other day, do you attract a certain pattern?
And that's what Ariane was asking her, you know, she noticed that she's keep getting dogged by these men, and Mimi replied, I like what I like.
And the thing is, she is putting herself out there as she's strong, but, you know, in reality, she's going through a lot.
Right. Or is she?
So we have a phone call.
So apparently, cocaine and weed were found in Stevie J's system. The judge allowed the reality star to post bail, but he did subject him to a random drug test to make sure Stevie J stays clean.
So he's going to get all his business put on Front Street.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, it seems like they're recycling the drug thing from what they did with Little Scrappy last season when he went to rehab.
And on that note, this is Miss J and Romy live at the Sugar Shack, and we'll be back.
But I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket. But it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place. And then they act so surprised when I find them. But I'm like, hello? That's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy, busy me. So, anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew. Wait, Mom, what?
What? Hold
What'd you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Yo, did you catch this flashback?
The first page of this fax got cut off, but listen to the rest of it. I couldn't believe my eyes. Wendy, my son, was giving my husband a professional.
The big one, Elizabeth! Oh, come on, Elizabeth!
I'm gay, I'm a homo, I like guys. I'm gay, I'm a homo, I like guys. I'm gay, I'm a homo, I like guys.
I'm going home! I'm going home! I've had it! I've had it!
There's a whole lot. Coming through your speakers, boy. It's windy, man.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
It's time for a flashback.
Why do I think that's like the KKK headquarters?
Which one, Birmingham or Africa?
Which one would I choose?
Yeah, if you had to go to one of them.
Wow, that is a good point. I think I would choose Alabama, though, because I can leave. I don't have to stay, unless I'm captured, by the KKK. Then I have no choice. Just better get ready for the news. But that's a good question. That would have been a good poll question if I felt like doing polls anymore. Alabama or Africa, which one would I rather live in if I had no choice? If the world was swallowed up by water and the only places that was left was Alabama and Africa, I take the water. I will swim. It's okay. I'm not coming. Either place put me in the middle, the furthest place away from the land, and I'll swim it out. I will swim it out.
You can catch Talk Lately Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, this is your girl, Miss J.
And Miss Versatile.
We are the host of
At the Sugar Shack, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7 p.m., where we provide a platform for adult conversations for real women,
real men, and real questions on BeExposedRadio.com.
Before you hit the runway, make sure you know the do's and don'ts of the fashion world.
I competed in the Thurgood Marshall model search competition where they went through all HBCUs and they picked one male, one female African American, and you would go to Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. I won as the male, and then I met this girl from FAMU who went. The experience was awesome. We got to meet Tyson Beckford, Vanessa Williams, and blah, blah. But I had to know when I went there that you're not about to be doing any swing, any switching, no twisting, and no turning. And you need to make sure that you're not doing any pivot twists. You're stopping at the top, getting your 3 seconds, and you walking your ass off. And sometimes when you come from Baltimore, what I've learned about models in Baltimore is that they are so big-headed.
Big-headed.
Like, oh my God, like, bitch. Because you can do 45 whole turns. That doesn't mean anything. Like, because you learn from, I'm not going to say that name. Or because you learn from somewhere and somebody taught you how to do all this shit, that means nothing. So don't come into my model call and think you're the shit and then tell me, well, so-and-so taught me. Bitch, go back to them and tell them I said they can come for free and we will teach them the right way. And people don't know that. Like, even girls, some girls don't know that. In runway, you can't do all that swing and all that. You have to have a simple ass walk when you go into, like, New York Fashion Week and different. They don't want to see all that.
For more of the Jonathan Rashawn Show, be sure to tune in live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, welcome back. This is your girl, Miss J, live at the Sugar Shack. Hump Day Wednesday, June 25th, 2014. I have Romy here, our intern, sitting next to me. We have Monty in the booth. And we have a special guest on the line. We have Dr. Joy Ohaya on the line with us. Thank you, Dr. Ohaya. How are you?
Fabulous, and how are you? Thanks for having me as a guest.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much, and I greatly appreciate it. Can you tell our guests a little bit about you and what you're doing and how you will be able to change their lives after speaking live at the Sugar Shack?
Well, let's see. Okay, so I've been an entrepreneur for 9 years, exactly this week. I'm celebrating an anniversary. I was in corporate America for a very long time, and then we had a little divorce, and I was grateful for that because I was able to find my passion, which is in the health and wellness field, and that's what I do now. So I promote, I motivate people, all people. Initially, it started out as women, then it branched off into just people that worked in corporations, but now it's everybody. I motivate them to have a healthy life, and that is a broad spectrum. I am the host and producer of my own television show, The Dr. Joy Show. So if you're in the New Jersey or New York area, you should be able to get my to see my shows, and my episodes cover topics that range across the total wellness. I call it the total wellness spectrum. So we just don't focus on one area per se. We hit the physical wellness, nutritional wellness, environmental wellness, social wellness, mental wellness, financial wellness, spiritual wellness, and so we cover it all.
So when did you decide to become a health guru?
You know, I think it's always been a part of me. It's just been hidden. Being a nationally ranked sprinter back in college, I think I always looked to take care of myself. But in terms of the motivation of people, motivating other people to take care of themselves, I think that started to surface probably maybe about 10 or 12 years ago. And then I had the opportunity, as I just mentioned, departing from corporate America, to follow my passion.
And see, that's good information. As you say, you were or still are a sprinter. So that means you've taken a lot of time to groom that craft that you have. So speaking on experience, when did you decide that you wanted to work holistically and encourage people to stray away from medicines?
Oh, okay. Well, let me just say this. I'm not a big fan of pills and needles and those over-the-counter things and prescriptions. So I've never been a fan of that. So given the opportunity to jump into the wellness area, I said there's got to be a way that we can, get people to take care of themselves so they wouldn't have to be dependent on over-the-counter drugs or prescription drugs. So I would say in 2005, when I started my company, I owned a health club, but I think it started then. I think it started around 2005 when, because at that point there were a lot of, as being a part of a franchise, we were encouraged to sell lots of supplements. Okay, and I said, no, we don't need these. If we were to just pull back the onion and see and get to the root cause of some problems and deal with the root cause, then we wouldn't have to load up on supplements, we wouldn't have to load up on over-the-counter drugs and needless to say, prescriptions. So I would say probably in 2005, that's when it all started.
That's a long time. And the good thing about that, since 2005 and things have changed medicine-wise, and yes, I know a lot of doctors do push a lot of medication for all kind of things. So with that being said, describe how you took an interest in nutrition and good health.
It was pretty simple. When I was laid off, like I said, 9 years ago, a friend of mine asked me the one question. The question was, so what are you going to do? What do you want to do now? And I said, you know what? I really wish that I could find a way to consistently work out, help people, and help people come up with their workout regime, and motivate them to take care of themselves, and continue to have my youthful look and not get dinged for it. That was my answer. That was my answer to my girlfriend sitting in her brand new kitchen. And she said to me, because she's an entrepreneur, long-standing entrepreneur, she said to me, she says, you want to buy a women's health club? And that's how it all got started.
Wow.
That's how it all got started, by that one question from my girlfriend. And, of course, I had the support back then and still now of my wonderful husband as well, because when I told him, he says, oh, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Go do it. So I bought into the franchise, and that's how it got started. but I didn't stay there. So as my journey of an entrepreneur has taken some crazy turns, and I love my journey. I started out as a health club owner, one club, and I knew then that I was bigger than that. Not to say that it wasn't good enough for me. It's just that I could have increased significance outside of that club. So I just had to figure out how to do it. And so I had the health club, then I expanded to being an author of Don't Let It Get You. Then that turned into speaking engagements. And then it was my corporate clients. And at the time, way back then, I had private clients. And now I have a television show, and it just keeps going on and on.
And
so it's a great
to
thing.
you. That's a beautiful
Thank you.
thing in your journey, and that's good because you started out, as you said, going on vacation. And everyone has gone on vacation one time or another. Some have been stuck in that rut, but others have progressed in the situation. Oh, we have a caller. Hi, this is Miss J. We have a caller for you. I think we lost him. I apologize. Caller, you can call back and speak with Dr. Joy and myself. So personally, can you describe your diet and health regime? Dr. Joy? I think we lost her.
Hello?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, I'm
I don't know
sorry.
what
I thought
happened.
we lost you. We had a caller coming through at the same time, wanting to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
Personally, can you describe your diet and health regime?
You want me to go there? Well, first of all, I don't believe in diet because diets fail us. And the reason why I say that is because a person will say, okay, they're on a diet. That means they are doing something different for a short period of time or for a period of time, and then once that time is over, they go back to what they were doing before. I'm more along the lines of promoting lifestyle changes, so where it's continuous. So, like for instance, there's a quote out there that says, "If you do something for 28 days, it becomes a habit." So I don't believe in diets, but what I will tell you is that one thing that I do prescribe is the amount of water that somebody drinks is paramount to their health and well-being. And so people would say, well, yeah, I think I drink enough water. I drink, 16 ounces a day. Ooh, that's not enough. That would only be enough if you weighed 32 pounds. So, so that's not it. But for promoting adequate water consumption is my number one thing, and of course, getting adequate rest.
Oh, okay. I was saying I've seen people with 64 ounces and more, 84 or 120. What do you think is the max a person is supposed to drink in H2O?
Oh, okay. Well, let's define that. Water, pure water. That means no additives, no sugar, no coloring, no lemon. The typical calculation, at least the calculation that I go by and I recommend to people, is your weight, and that would be your current weight, not your sister's weight, not where you want to be, but where you are right now, divided by 2, and that's the number of ounces that you should consume on a daily basis, not to exceed 128 ounces. And usually I cap off, I would tell people stop at 100 ounces because we don't want to run the risk of water poisoning, because that's obviously detrimental to the health. So that's a simple calculation for the amount of water that one should consume. And if you are in areas of elevation or extreme temperatures, then you should increase by 10%.
10%. So to
10%,
piggyback
yeah.
off of what you were just saying about water poisoning. So can you give a brief description to our listeners what to look out for in water poisoning?
Yeah, they can. Well, what would happen is they would, besides continuously going to the bathroom, they may become lethargic. They may have memory loss. They may not feel like eating at all. So those are some of the symptoms. And you want to stay away from those. You don't want to flood your system. Like people say, too much of something can be bad. There is a such thing as too much water.
And that's good information, because I see people drinking, and I drink water a lot myself. But like I said, I see people with big, huge jugs from the old 7-Eleven days, the big, huge containers of water. And
but that might be okay.
120.
Oh, it's over 120 ounces? Yes. Well, then no, I wouldn't recommend that, especially unless they're over 300 pounds. But I would, if you saw somebody with a big jug at the time, and say if it was 100 ounces, maybe they were drinking that 100 ounces over the course of a day. Let's hope that was the case. Let's hope that was the case, because again, a lot of the problem that people have is they say, "Oh, I can't consume that much water. That's just too much. I'm going to go to the bathroom. It's just overwhelming." Blah blah blah. And I would say, well, break it up in time during the different times of the day. So if you have, if you weigh 150 pounds, you divide that by 2. That's 75. The number is 75 is 75 ounces. Well, that's what is it? 4? No, that's 5 16-ounce bottles of water a day, right? About 16 times, right? There's about 8, so that gives you about 80 ounces. But still, that's how you would do it. So you would drink upon awakening, all right? Then you would drink again before lunch. You would drink again before dinner. How many times is that? 3. You would drink again while you work out, and you drink again before you go to bed. So that's 5 times.
I believe that's a sufficient amount of water. And and to be honest, I have never heard of water poisoning, so this is definitely new to me, and I will definitely keep up with that. And like I said, the people that I see drinking water all day, they're really thinking that they're doing something, but in a way they're harming themselves with the big, huge jugs.
Well, if they're drinking water throughout the day, then it might not be so bad. Then the other question you may have in your head is, what's their salt intake? Because are they eating certain foods that's going to cause them to be thirsty? So that's another question. Not for you to ask them, but just in your head, that could be
Because we all know about salt intake and how thirsty.
Oh yeah, we sure do.
Definitely.
Exactly.
So, with your television show, congratulations with that. How did you give life to that? You're welcome.
Oh boy, that the short version is I was I did a speaking engagement in North Carolina a while back. Then I was invited back to the same venue, and then from there, I think I was invited to speak in Maryland. And then from there, someone in the audience said, "Hey, I need you to close out my conference in New Jersey," and I did that. They squeezed me on the agenda for the New Jersey conference. Somebody in the audience said, "Hey, you know what? You have a great message. You motivate the audience. Did you ever think about television?" And I said, "Of course, I've thought about television." "Well, now, did you ever think about having your own show?" And I said, "I would love to have my own show." They said, "Okay." And then that's how it got started. So someone in the audience, after speaking, maybe 3 or 4 different places, saw me and then, approached me and asked me if that's something that I wanted to do. So I jumped on it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So how does one get featured on your show?
Well, they can email me and I would take a look at what they would want to talk about. So it's almost like they would send me a pitch as to what they would want to discuss. And my email, well, my website is www.drxjoy.com, and there's a contact page there, so they can hit me up on the contact page, or they could find me on Facebook and introduce themselves and send me a picture via Facebook, and then I'll take a look at it and see if that's something we want to go with. And if so, I'll reach back out to them, or I have somebody on my team reach back out to them to help them through the process, and then that's how it goes. It's pretty simple.
It is simple, and thank you. I appreciate that, and I definitely know the listeners, and as well as myself, I would like to be a part of that as quick as I can, because everyone needs to be fit, especially with the summertime coming up. And with that, I'd love to get into your book, Don't Let It Get You. So what can a person look for while reading your book?
Well, this book talks about how to create a healthy lifestyle in the midst of competing priorities. See, originally when I wrote this book, and the caption is an empowering health and fitness guide for women, right? But and I know you have male listeners, so I just want to clarify this. This book is also good for men, okay? But I wanted to focus on the women. Not to say that the men are not important, because the men get their workout in. They find time to do their workout. Most women, push the workout off. Their family gets in the way, the work gets in the way, so it's time. It might be a money factor. They just might not be plain motivated. Those things that I just listed, I call those its. Those are the things that get in the way, or they are competing priorities that will hinder you from achieving health and happiness. So Don't Let It Get You provides strategies around the its, and it gives you a personalized workout routine, a meal plan, and lots of tips on dining out, reading labels, portion control, and much, much more. And so the first thing is, if a person wants to get fit, they should know, which is a good thing, but they should get medical clearance first from their physician, and then they need to determine, or somebody needs to help them determine what their body type is, and we go through that in the book. Okay, so there's 3 main body types and 2 subtypes, and then we see, based on their body type, we can create a plan for them, a physical fitness plan. So that's what Don't Let It Get You discusses. It also touches on my personal story of achievement, and I show readers how to break through obstacles and people who hinder us from health and happiness, bottom line. So it's those things, whatever is going to hinder you from getting to your goal, that's what we call an it.
Because the it is you.
Basically. Yeah, the it would be the individual reader. So, and the goal is to inspire all, it says all women, but really all people, all of my readers, to achieve and maintain a fit and healthy life.
So, do you think the book will inspire readers everywhere, men and women, that no matter what the obstacle is, they can do it? It's not hard to work out.
No, it's not hard to work out, but you know what? Here's the deal. Working out is an action, right? But it starts with really what a person is thinking. So our thoughts control our actions. So if we have negative thoughts about a particular thing, our action is going to follow our thought, and then the result is going to follow the action. So if we have a positive thought about something, then we're going to put that into motion, and the result is going to be something positive. So it's all about how we think about something. Besides working out, I'm going to take it way to like a much higher level, all right? And then whatever that thing is, how you think about it will determine your result. So if someone is telling you that you cannot achieve a certain thing, I've had people say, "Oh, you're going to fail at your business." Yeah, if I had listened to that, that's a bad thought. Then I would have fallen into despair, disappointment, depression, and not acted on in a positive way. And then, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Exactly.
So your mind, your mind controls it, controls everything.
So with that being said, before you became the host of your show, was your lifestyle different in regards to health than it is currently right now?
I'd say it's better. It's better. I mean, I worked out before I was the host of my show. Before I jumped into the entrepreneurial side of the health and wellness industry. Which question? Which one? Before. Okay. So prior to 2005, I worked out 5 days a week, 2 days off. Okay. And my meal regimen was okay, but here's what was missing. What was missing were the other elements. The other elements in total wellness that I call total wellness. Remember I said it was 7 elements? Mm-hmm. So I focused on primarily physical and nutrition. And then once I really started getting into this health and wellness field and then working on a PhD, I said, ooh, this is bigger than just what I eat and then how much, I work out and what type of workout. So I had to also incorporate the other components. Okay. So if I said that there were 7 of them and I only looked at 2 of them prior to 2005, that means I was deficient. Or put it like this, I wasn't putting in too much, I didn't really focus on the other 5 elements. And so I had to do that. So the answer to your question is it was different.
Well, we have to get ready to wrap it up, Dr. O. Where can our listeners find you?
Oh, my listeners, they can find, sure, www.drxjoy.com. That's my website. I'm on Twitter. My handle is Dr. Joy O. I'm on Facebook as Dr. Joy, one word, space, Ohio. That's my personal page. And then they can also find me on IMDb. They can go there. I also have a fan page. And for your listeners that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, come on out to see me in the live stage production at the Broadway Comedy Club, Casey 30 Years Later.
Yay.
And Dr. Joy plays herself.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I look forward to speaking to you again live at the Sugar Shack with Miss J, Miss Versatile. I can't wait to talk to you, and I can't wait to meet you also.
All right, same here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. This is Miss J, and we'll be back.
Mike's on the telephone. Mike is 45. He wants to talk about the inauguration. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Wendy?
Fine, thank you, Mike.
Doing?
How you doing?
I'm all right. Hey, I watched the whole thing. It was great.
Yeah.
But the only thing I did not appreciate is the first and foremost, he did not thank God for getting him where he got to. And second of all, he did not thank Dr. Martin Luther King. He did not mention that man's name once through the primaries, through his got elected.
I don't believe that. I don't believe. Well, if there were oversights, God and Martin Luther King, I don't believe that it was with ill intention.
I don't either, but just to give thanks, because without Martin, he would have never been there. And a lot of people, of color, of ethnicity, they wouldn't be where they are today.
Yeah, without.
And you should just give thanks.
I am so embarrassed that we're in the same age group. You sound like an old man.
Well, it's just that I'm very wise.
No, what is wrong with your teeth?
My who?
Your teeth.
My teeth?
Yeah, there's something going on. Your teeth, you got a fat tongue, a lazy tongue, big lips. What's going on?
Ain't nothing going on. Oh, I'm missing one tooth in the front.
There you go.
Oh, Wendy, man, what are you, psychic?
Well, no, but I can hear it because I'm 44, you're 45, but you sound like you're 150.
No, dear, no. I think that's your phone.
I love you, Mike.
Yeah, I love you too.
Thank you for listening.
What's up, Charlamagne?
And no, Charlamagne doesn't work here anymore. Yeah, where you been?
Oh man, I've been at work, just working.
Yeah, they gave him the hammer.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, well.
All right, well, Wendy, you have a blessed year, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on TV.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm looking forward to you getting that new tooth.
Oh, yes, I am. My wife is already getting my behind about.
There you go. Exactly.
All right.
Thank goodness for wives, right?
Yeah, you're right, dear.
Take care, Mike.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You are now listening to BeExposedRadio.com. Hey, this is your girl, Miss J.
And Miss Versatile.
We are the host of At the Sugar Shack,
Monday through Friday from 5 to 7 p.m., where we provide a platform for adult conversations for real women,
real men, and real questions on BeExposedRadio.com.
It's time for a flashback.
Why do I think that's like the KKK headquarters?
Which one, Birmingham or African?
Which one would I choose?
Yeah, if you had to go to one of them.
Wow, that is a good point. I think I would choose Alabama, though, because I can leave. I don't have to stay. Unless I'm captured, by the KKK, then I have no choice. So just better get ready for the news. But that's a good question. That would have been a good poll question if I felt like doing polls anymore. Alabama or Africa, which one would I rather live in if I had no choice? If the world was swallowed up by water and the only places that was left was Alabama and Africa, I'd take the water. I will swim. It's okay. I'm not coming. Either place put me in the middle, the furthest place away from the land, and I'll swim it out. I will swim it out.
You can catch Talk Lately Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Can you tell if the leftovers from this dinner party are beginning to grow bacteria that could lead to severe diarrhea, vomiting, and stomach cramps? Listen. You can't see it either. Get leftovers into the refrigerator as soon as possible. Spoiled leftovers can make you very sick, or worse. Roughly 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year, but you can keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
Before you hit the runway, make sure you know the do's and don'ts of the fashion world.
I competed in the Thurgood Marshall model search competition where they went through all HBCUs and they picked one male, one female African American, and you would go to Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. I won as the male, and then I met this girl from FAMU who went. The experience was awesome. We got to meet Tyson Beckford, Vanessa Williams, and blah, blah. But I had to know when I went there that you're not about to be doing any swing, any switching, no twisting, and no turning. And you need to make sure that you're not doing any pivot twists. You're stopping at the top, getting your 3 seconds, and you're walking your ass off. And sometimes when you come from Baltimore, what I have learned about models in Baltimore is that they are so big-headed.
Big-headed.
Like, oh my God, like, bitch. Because you can do 45 whole turns, that doesn't mean anything. Like, because you learn from, I'm not going to say that name, but because you learn from somewhere and somebody taught you how to do all this shit, that means nothing. So don't come into my model call and look, you're the shit, and then tell me, well, so-and-so taught me. Bitch, go back to them and tell them I said they can come for free, and we will teach them the right way. And people don't know that. Like, even girls, some girls don't know that. In runway, you can't do all that swing and all that. You have to have a simple ass walk when you go into, like, New York Fashion Week and different. They don't want to see all that.
For more of the Jonathan Rashawn Show, be sure to tune in live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey. It's your girl, Miss J. This my buddy. Welcome back to Live at the Sugar Shack with Miss J. Bromy's in the house. Hello. We have Monty in the back. Robbie just walked in. Hey, Rob. He can't hear me. Thank you, Dr. Joy, for that wonderful interview. I definitely appreciate it. Learned a lot. I know not to drink so much water, though. That's for sure. And we have another special guest. Get ready to call in shortly. This is for the guys. Author Michael J. Russer will be calling in, discussing erectile dysfunction. Yes. Some have it, some don't. So with that being said, you already said, Romy, that you've never had that problem, which is a good thing.
We also just learned two us don't have that problem.
That is true. So I can't wait for him to call in with that. I really want to piggyback off that Stevie J thing. Like, it's really crazy about this.
Right.
And we all know reality TV is fake. We know this. So why do you think that so many people are so tuned in and cannot wait for the ratchetness, knowing that it's not real? Reality TV.
For me, is back to what Marnie said earlier. You know, I don't have time for drama in my life. So if MTV, VH1, BET is going to provide that drama, then I'll be content with that. As long as I'm not in the middle of it, I'm fine with it. It has nothing to do with me. It's an hour out of my day to watch other people be ratchet on television.
And with that being said, now we've seen fights, we've seen bottles, we've seen running over tables, we've seen all this on reality TV. Do you think spitting, like I said, throwing objects at people, do you think that is showing us as people, as a minority, in a good light? Because if we're doing this, we already know it's going to be huge ratings because people are going to be talking about it and they're going to be tweeting and Facebooking and all social media as the stuff is going on. And of course, it's going to give them ratings, but do you think it's showing us in a good light in the process?
Not at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's an up and down to reality television, but at the end of the day, people are more focused on the drama, and they're more focused on putting us back in a negative stereotype, and we're not doing nothing but helping them put us in that stereotype.
And knowing that reality TV is just about ratings, that's what reality TV is. It's about ratings. What show is going to get the highest ratings and who's going to do what? But do you really think at the end of the day, as the person that's doing the ratchetness on television and everyone is looking at this, do you think in the back of their mind they're just looking at it as a check?
Yes. At the end of the day, they're letting the money speak for them. They're not worried about how they're looking in the public light. I think some celebrities really do live off of the motto, all publicity is good publicity.
That's true. That's true. With that being said, with this whole Stevie J thing, because it's going to get bigger than what it is right now. So I already know this. And it's not going to be a good thing. And it's not going to be a good thing because he has several kids looking at this.
Right.
And with his kids looking at this, it's what is that saying about, okay, your father is on TV and being a womanizer, being a whore, not paying child support, not doing any of these things, but he's popping bottles, nice whip, rented house, and everything else. So everything is a facade. So really, what is it that you own, actually?
Your name. Stephen Jordan.
That's it?
That's it.
Just your name.
Just your name. I don't even think you have Jocelyn like that. Just your name.
So, you sure can. Hi, Robbie. This my Robbie.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
We were talking about Stevie J and his new charges on heroin and cocaine.
He just need to have a seat.
And
Can I get a sound effect, Money? He need to have a seat.
He don't have a sound effect. But I feel like that they're basing this off for the next season of Flavor of Love. That's
Really?
how I feel.
See, that's
Think
why,
about it.
That's why I don't watch TV, but go ahead.
They have no storylines right now that they could really use for the next season. So, in my opinion, they're going to focus on Stevie J with the child support, the drugs, the heroin.
And the next Flavor of Love? You didn't just say that, did you?
No. I said the drugs, the heroin.
I just came back. Did I miss something? Did you say the flavor?
No, they actually don't do shows like that no more. After a guy was, and I was just reading about that, a guy was a suspect in killing his girlfriend to go on I Love Megan.
Dang.
She used to be a former Playboy model. Former Playboy model.
I Love Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was supposed to air in 2009, and the contestant who won actually had killed his wife. Well, supposedly killed his wife.
Good afternoon, it's Michael Russer.
Hi, Michael. This is Miss J. How are you?
Doing very well. How are you?
Fine. This is Miss J live at the Sugar Shack on BeExposedRadio.com.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for being a part of it. I'm so excited about this interview because this is a beneficial interview for men and women.
Yes, it is. Yeah, women get as much out of this, if not more, than men.
So, the concept of your book, and I don't want to jump ahead of myself, so I would like for you to tell our listeners who Mr. Michael Russer is and why did he write this book and why it's going to be beneficial before the end of the show that they need to purchase this book from you because, like I said, it's beneficial to men and women.
Oh, yeah. Would you like me to dive right into it?
I would.
All right. Well, my background is that of an international speaker and author, but in the realm of technology and business. So for over 18 years, I traveled all over the world, speaking to typically very large audiences about how to do business effectively, primarily online. And I've written several books about that. But I was very good at what I did. I made a lot of money doing what I did, and I was very highly regarded. But I knew something was missing, and I had that feeling most of my life, and it kind of came to a head about almost 3 years ago. It would be September of 2011. At that time, I had been in a marriage for 26 years, where the previous 11 years of that marriage, my wife and I were basically roommates. We were celibate. We knew we were going to part company, but only after our youngest son went off to college. And but that was just really a small part of it. There was much more to it than that for me because I felt like I was dying inside. And then I felt very shut down. Even as a gregarious, high-energy kind of speaker, and you'd be surprised how many speakers are like this. They can be very engaging and uplifting and motivational and inspirational for everybody else. But many of them on the inside are pretty shut down. And so I felt that way. And I didn't quite know what to do except no longer be that way. So I made a choice. I drew a line in the sand, so to speak, and crossed over it. And that went from being shut down to never allowing myself to live that way ever again. And shut down, let me just define what I mean by shut down, because I think a lot of people have different ideas about that. It's really very simple. It means allowing barriers over our heart for the purpose of avoiding pain and hurt. And we come into this world, most of us come into this world very heart open, very open and radiant human beings. And then life happens, and we start piling on the various armor around our heart, thinking that that's the way to protect our heart. Well, it's come to me, in the past 2 or 3 years that the heart never needs any protection. It can't be hurt. It can't be in any way compromised. Now, the ego, on the other hand, oh boy, that needs all sorts of protection. So, when I hear people say, oh, she broke my heart, or he trashed me, and that sort of thing, I said, no, here's another way of looking at it. He broke your ego, or he trashed your ego. And that distinction between the ego and the heart is very powerful when people finally really, really get it. But anyway, I made that choice, and I walked away from my career. I ended the marriage, and 2 months later, ironically, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Wow.
And in my family, cancer of any kind typically means you're going to die, and not well. 5 other members of my immediate family died of various forms of cancer, and it was 100% fatal, always. And so when the biopsy came back, they said, well, we got some good news. It looks pretty mild. You're clear on one side of the prostate, and the other side with a pretty low score, what they call low Gleason score, which means it's not terribly aggressive. They said, you have months to think about how you want to treat it because the implications are fairly profound. And I said, I already thought about it. Take it out now. And I just knew from my family history that it was going to be serious. And sure enough, they did the surgery almost immediately, about 45 days later. And when they did the tissue studies, Jay, they found that it was extraordinarily aggressive. And if I hadn't done that surgery, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now. So as brilliant of a job as they did, they still didn't get it all. I went through 7 weeks of daily radiation treatment, which still didn't kill it all. I technically still have it, but it's under control. But as a result of all those treatments, I am now struck with the irony of all ironies that after remaining faithful in a marriage where essentially we were celibate for 11 years, I just threw myself in my work, which is kind of another way of hiding out, so to speak. Now the thought of being with another woman, after all that, is in doubt. I was wondering, oh God, am I ever going to be able to feel this again? Am I going to be able to have a relationship now that I'm morally and legally able to? Am I even going to be able to have a relationship with a woman at the intimate level? And so I went through the process that most men go through when they're struck with erectile dysfunction, or in my case, full and complete impotence, meaning none of the drugs work. And that is, you go into, denial, like, you got to be kidding me. And then you go into anger, and I had plenty of that. Most of it directed at myself for being so shut down, somehow thinking that had a reason, that was part of the cause. And then the third stage is where most men get stuck, and that usually is depression. And by definition, I'm not a very depressive individual, so I went into negotiation instead, saying, well, maybe if I try this, maybe if I try that, none of which worked, of course. And I finally got to the point of full acceptance of the isness of my condition. And, to put this in perspective, most men in our culture today look upon erectile dysfunction as basically a removal or a destruction of their manhood. They no longer feel like men. I've had women call me up and say, would you please talk to my fiance? He has erectile dysfunction, and he's told me to go find another man because he's no longer a man. And then just complete depression. Oh, yeah. Men will often avoid being diagnosed for prostate cancer out of not so much fear of the cancer, of course that's there, but the bigger fear that they might be rendered impotent as a result of the treatments. And in our society, with the Viagra and Cialis commercials coming up every 30 seconds, basically implying, you can be a man again, a real man knows what to do and how to do it and can do it. Well, it really doesn't help, that kind of cultural imprinting. In fact, it's very, very damaging. But here's the thing, and this is where it was a huge blessing for me. I realized it was a choice. I can choose to see this as a sign that I'm no longer a man, or I could choose to define my manhood as something else. But it took basically finding my life mate a year later to really go into that journey. And what came out of that exploration between her and I is the subject of my book. And the reason I'm interviewed several times a week, and I've now just been asked to speak at a TEDx conference about this subject, and the reason is that because of, not in spite of, but because of the fact that I no longer function like a normal man, my partner and I now experience levels of emotional, physical, and spiritual intimacy that most normally functioning couples can't even imagine is humanly possible. It's what I call extraordinary intimacy, way beyond the ordinary. And this is something, thankfully, that can be taught to men and women who are functioning normally. But this condition affects men and women almost equally, because if man, we already talked about how it affects his self-concept. And the woman in that relationship, despite the fact that intellectually she knows the fact that he can't become erect is not due to her imprinting, both biological and culturally, causes her often to think, well, maybe he's interested in another woman. Maybe he's just not interested in me anymore. And if the man picks up on that, whether verbally or non-verbally, the whole relationship spirals until it crashes. Mm-hmm. And I know I was on a talk show once where somebody texted in, and this is a man suffering from ED, and his wife said his wife was thinking that he was having an affair. And the talk show host, a female like yourself, was incredulous. She said he would rather have her think that he was having an affair than admit that he had erectile dysfunction. I said, well, think about it. In one case, in the former, at least she still sees him as a man in his eyes. Mm-hmm. In the other, she may not see him as a man because he doesn't. And so it's pretty profound, the impact both on men and women.
So with that being said, you kept stressing that basically you feel it as though your manhood is being taken away from you and you will never get an erection again. So when a man personally hears that from a physician, what do you think is the first thing that comes to their mind?
Life's over. Life's over.
But
life as they know it is over. No, it's not. But that's what, because of our biological and cultural wiring, that's what a lot comes to their mind. And it's so unnecessary. So much unnecessary suffering happens because of that. And what I do is through my book and through my coaching and that sort of thing, I help both men and women effectively rewire that biological and cultural wiring, which, by the way, is designed and based on procreation. And here's what's so interesting. Most women, especially when they enter and go into postmenopausal period, really don't find intercourse all that pleasurable anymore. They want, therefore, their idea of intimacy is something very, very different. Yet for man, it typically is the same. So already there are huge differences between how men and women operate. And what my ED did for me is caused me, because I no longer have this. See, here's the thing, and every man who's listening now can appreciate this. When a man gets hard, as a result of just looking at a pretty lady, he's ready right now. And there's this overwhelming urge to use it and relieve that urge. It's built into us as men, and it was designed primarily for spreading the seed as wide and as far as possible and as quickly as possible. And but that is not, and that's all for the propagation of species. But that's not how we operate now. We've evolved past that. And so, and the irony here is that most intimate encounters, or let's call them sexual encounters, because sex and intimacy are not necessarily the same thing. A lot of sex today really involves zero intimacy, and I define intimacy as connection, deep, abiding connection at the emotional, physical, and even spiritual level. And there's a lot of sex happening out there where there's zero connection. It is just a pure physical release, usually with a strong sense of lack of fulfillment on both parties. But women are not built that way. It takes much longer for women to warm up, so to speak. And so what my ED did for me, and it was a total surprise. I did not expect this. That's the thing. I didn't expect this to happen because I had no clue. It never happened to me before. But fortunately, I have a mate that was willing to explore this with me, and so without that overwhelming urge, I was able to slow down and focus on her and match her sexual response profile. And I will spend an hour or more just loving her and warming up and getting her warmed up, and with no overt sexual, even physical touching at first, just getting her into the space so that she can receive totally and completely.
And on that note, we need to take a break because I do want to come back to that. This is Miss J, live at the Sugar Shack. We have author Michael J. Russer on the line, and we'll be back.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you have worked so hard for. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, call now and get a free, confidential consultation. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-877-867-3063. That's 1-877-867-3063.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place, and then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Oh, it can get real healthy here on the Lady O Show. So check out what happened last week.
It's only that I substitute the seasoning oil. I use the Mrs. Dash. I use the garlic powder, the garlic seasoning. So it's different things that you can change and still make your food taste really good. So, So
what is one of your favorite dishes that you like to prepare now on your new regimen?
Well, listen, the other day I made some asparagus soup, and it was absolutely delicious.
Next.
Oh, next.
I don't like asparagus.
So you don't like asparagus. So let me give you my second meal was the crab cakes. I did the crab cakes.
Now you're talking. Why didn't you say that one first? You're going to go to asparagus.
But let me just share with the crab cakes. It had I did it with a Melva toast.
That's the one you posted on Facebook.
Right, exactly. Didn't it look pretty good?
I can't even contain it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, continue.
But anyway, I'm excited because the Melba toast kind of like kept the crab cake all together, and it was delicious. Changing food preparation and putting in better ingredients, nutritional ingredients, herbs and spices, it changes your life forever.
The Lady O Show is each and every Thursday at 8 p.m. live right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the station with all the hits and the Talk Lately Show weeknights at 7 p.m.
Dear Wendy, hi. Hey girl, forget about a snafu. I've got a major bomb. I'm a 29-year-old childless wife who has been married for 4 years, but known my husband for 8 years. I have a jump off that I've been luxuriating with for the past year. Wendy, to make a long story short, I got caught up recently slurping off my jump off by my husband in our bed.
Good show.
It is a good show.
It's a real good show.
I would so be listening if I wasn't actually executing.
Me too.
Oh my gosh, my husband, which is the basis by which I do this show. That's why it's called the Wendy Williams Experience, because I like to do stuff that I need listening to. Yeah. Hopefully, everybody else. You know, I'm thinking if I can pick the common denominator, and slurping and jump offs is definitely the common denominator of this show. Oh, yeah. All right, everybody. Okay. Okay. My husband was mad for about 3 weeks, and he said the only way he can forgive me is if I agree to a threesome. So, Wendy, I agreed. When the day came for the threesome, I had no idea who it was going to be until the person walked into the house. Wendy, here's the bomb. Dave, get ready. It was the guy that I was jumping off with for the past year. How you doing, husband? How you doing, Miss Thang?
How you doing?
My husband and my jump off. Wait. My husband and my jump off was getting down and dirty like they've been together for years.
Yeah.
My question to you is, number one, is my husband gay? Number two, is my jump off gay? Number three, what the hell should I do? Everybody's gay. You need a divorce, a breakup, and a good lawyer. And an interview with the Wendy Williams Experience afterwards. How you doing? How you doing? And all right.
You didn't think about that one long, did you?
Huh?
You didn't think about that one long, did you?
Hell no. If I walk in, if you walk in the room and your husband is in bed with your jump off and they've been getting it on like everybody's holes all open and they've been doing it for years and whatnot, then hell, everybody's gay. And I want a divorce for everybody. We've been married for 4 years. Thank goodness we don't have any kids, and I'm 29, still tight enough to do it, drop it like it's hot, old enough to know better. I'm so out, it's unbelievable. And with no baggage, I still want alimony. Meaning kids. But I still want some alimony. Yeah. Or people will find out at your job that you pack baloney. Now, how far do you want to take it? Right? Ladies, don't you stick them up and stick them up?
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is. Because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. This is your girl, Miss J, live at the Sugar Shack. It is Hump Day Wednesday, June the 25th, 2014. And we have Romy here. Hey. We have Engineer Robbie, and they're manning the boards. And we have our special guest, Mr. Michael J. Ramsey. Yay! On the line with us. We're discussing erectile dysfunction in men. And before we went to break, Michael, you were really giving an in-depth reflection on how it affects not only you, but your mate. And with that being said, the question I have is erectile dysfunction a normal part of aging?
Yeah, not necessarily. Erectile dysfunction usually happens as a result, obviously, of prostate cancer treatment for prostate cancer. It's also fairly prominent in men who have diabetes, hypertension. Age can be a factor. It depends on your testosterone levels, the whole thing. Ironically, my testosterone levels are through the roof. They're probably above the range for even the most healthy of men, and no one can seem to figure that one out because I don't take supplements at all. But if low testosterone can be a factor on that. Stress can be a factor. And then another thing that not a lot of people talk about, except in the psychology circles, but younger men who receive essentially sexual release by watching a lot of porn become numb to real women. And so they lose the ability to be aroused with a real woman because their entire experience, or most of their experience for being aroused, is through porn. And so they have no clue on how to even be aroused with a woman. So even young men now are experiencing erectile dysfunction, but usually for those reasons or just the stress of modern life. But more and more college health centers are reporting that men in their early 20s are coming in. I just can't get it up, and just, it's unfortunate, but again, it's really more of a symptom of something much more fundamental, and that's what I call the shutdown world. We live in a world where our culture literally conspires, Jay, to keep us distracted. So people do everything they can to distract themselves from being in the moment. And to experience true intimacy, true deep, abiding connection with another human being, you need to be in the present moment. You need to be present for them as they need to be present for you. Yet we live in a culture where everything is designed to distract us, whether it's the sugar in our food, whether it's entertainment, whether it's disconnected sex, drugs, you name it. Everything causes us to feel distracted so we don't have to feel. Well, the fact is that you need to be able to get to the point where you're in the moment and are willing to feel everything, including the things that don't necessarily feel good, in order to be really connected with your partner. And then and only then are you in a position to ever have a chance to achieve truly extraordinary levels of intimacy at the emotional, physical, and even spiritual level. So there's a lot of factors here, but the first thing I look at when I talk to people is how connected are you? How present are you for yourself as well as other people? And then we go to look at the emotional connection, because I don't care how good the sex is in the beginning, it will not last. If there's not a very... Yeah, it'll fizzle after a while, and people get bored and all that sort of thing, only because there's not a strong emotional connection. Now, with my partner and I, it has only gotten stronger over time, because we are very clear about being present for each other, present in the giving and present in the receiving, and that's just as important. And so when you have that, you literally have a relationship where physical intimacy, which is just one of 3 different ways of having it, can actually become stronger and more fulfilling over time, even years, than where without it, it will wane. And there's so many examples of my marriage, my kind of marriage, where you start out as soulmates and become roommates. Mm-hmm. And that's not a great way to go through life. I'll tell you that right now. It's a very unfulfilling way to go through life, and it's not necessary. But we need to be aware of what's going on and what the fundamental principles are. And so the first fundamental principle is learn to be in the present moment. Learn to be fully present for your partner, both in giving and receiving, and then build a strong emotional intimacy, heart connection with your partner. That deep warmth and caring for your partner and presence for them at the emotional level. And when you do that, what's so interesting is that it creates a space for your intuition, for both parties' intuition, so that when the physical intimacy starts expressing itself, you make mutual discoveries and in that space of full presence that you never would have thought would, how that really works, and that kind of thing. Like, typically my partner and I will spend 2 to 4 hours of time every time we make love. Now, a lot of people are going, oh my God, what do you do for 2 to 4 hours? Well, we have an experience that most ordinarily functioning couples cannot even begin to imagine. My partner, I spend a good hour or more just warming my partner up. We go into a shower together, and I'll use a loofah to scrub her down, and nothing sexual, just make her feel good, make her feel clean and cared for. Mm-hmm. Then, and she'll do the same for me. She reciprocates. And then I will start with a massage, and she has her own company, and she's got a lot of stress. And so the first thing I want to do is help her become present and help her relieve that stress. And so I'll massage her, and first at the back and the neck and the arms, and throughout the whole body, but rarely will it be sexual in the beginning. In fact, it won't be in the beginning. She's not ready. But after about an hour of that, she's now kind of warmed up. She's kind of in the receiving mood. Then and only then am I going to be a little more overtly sensual with her. And by taking that time and by being fully present for her and helping her to be fully present in the receiving, she now experiences, and this is a minimum, not sometimes. This is a minimum of 7 to 9 orgasms per session, occasionally 10 to 13. And yeah. And now, it's so funny is that people are going, I had one 26-year-old, a gorgeous model, saying, I didn't think that was humanly possible. And not only is it possible, I believe it's available for every woman if the man creates the space for it. And and the other thing too is, now there'll be times, and this is kind of interesting, women often have a lot on their mind because they tend to be more multitaskers than men, and that's part of the problem. The better men have one thing on their mind, and especially with that urge, right? Well, my one thing on my mind is, how can I help her become present? How can I stay present? And how can I match her sexual response profile? And so she taught me. I was coachable. She taught me. And it was totally the opposite of what my male brain said I thought would work. And, but sometimes I will feel her come close to orgasm, and then she'll back down, and she'll get close and back down, and then she'll look at me and she says, honey, I think it's just not going to happen this time. I says, are you enjoying this? She says, oh my God, yes. I said, well, don't even worry about it. I don't even want you to try. I just want you to enjoy it because I'm not getting tired. I just don't get tired. And so when I give her permission not to try or perform, so to speak, see, women have performance anxiety too. And that's why most of them fake it. And so when I give her permission not to perform or half the climax, every single time, within 10 seconds, 10 or 15 seconds, she will have an explosive one. And that sets off the chain reaction from that point on. Once she has her first one, there is no stopping. And so it's important to be very present when you receive, too. So there's everything that we do, and this is the great thing, everything we do is replicable by anybody. It's just a matter of knowing how men and women really function and operate, and what are the things that are driving us. So, for example, since I can't get hard, there is no penetrative sex. So we both enjoy oral sex, and my tongue just never gets tired, ever, ever, ever. And the thing is while I used to enjoy that prior to all this happening, once the woman came, I thought, okay, did my job, and, but I also thought as they get closer to climaxing, I should go harder and faster. But that's how men feel. That's how men operate. When we get close, it's harder and faster. Mm-hmm. So she taught me, she said, sweetie, no, slow and gentle, always. It's what I call the Captain Crunch and Munch syndrome. You don't go in there. like you're eating the watermelon like there's no tomorrow. You just don't do that. And it's so interesting is that because I'm so present to her, even though as I sense her coming close, and she's very explosive in her orgasms, and she comes close, my male brain is screaming to me, harder, faster, she's getting close. But I'm fully present to what she told me, so I just keep it slow and easy. And, oh my God. And what's so interesting is she's never had an experience like this before. Neither one of us have. And it's simply because I slowed down and focused on her, became very present. And so how does this relate back to looking at myself as a man? Well, once I discovered this was possible, then I in turn made the choice to define myself as a man, not based on my equipment and how well it worked, how big it was, or anything, because based on that, I'm nobody. But how deeply I can connect with her on all levels and how powerfully I can please her. And based on those criteria, which is something I actually have control over, regardless of the equipment, I have zero shame and I have total confidence in myself as being a total man. And so this is possible for any man that has erectile dysfunction issues, and it's also possible for men to feel extremely virile because they know that they can please their woman like no other. But it takes being very present for them. And it also is important that the woman is willing to share with their man, like my mate did with me. And Jackie is very, very candid with what she wants and what she likes and all that. She doesn't hesitate. And a lot of women do, thinking that A, they might hurt the guy's feelings, and B, below that, and actually the real reason is he might leave me if I tell him this, because he might think that he's not pleasing me and therefore he gets hurt and he'll just leave. He doesn't want to feel that pain. Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. There's a way to position that. So all the ladies listening to this now, here's a way that you can coach your man to being the kind of lover that really works for you so that he gets to experience your full sensual potential. And I honestly believe that what Jackie experiences is available to every woman on this planet. And, let's face it, women are the only member of our species that has an organ that is designed for only one thing, and that's pleasure, and that's the clitoris. And penetrative sex really isn't very effective at utilizing that resource. So what I suggest to women is that now they have, you do need to be mindful that men are easily hurt and, this is a very sensitive subject for men. Very sensitive.
Exactly. It's a taboo subject that they don't want to discuss.
Yeah. So what I suggest is this: kind of take an end run on it. I say, as I do this like this little role play as if I'm the woman. I'd say, honey, I just want to tell you how much I just absolutely adore you, love making love to you, and I was just thinking, how would you like to explore even other ways of doing this and other ways of being? So take this even to another whole level. Well, when it's presented that way, most men are going to go, sure. Because in their mind, that just means, oh my God, this is going to get really exciting now. But then the woman needs to be clear on what works and why. And so it's really incumbent upon the female partner to be very candid, but in a way that men can accept, that what works for them. And that usually means holding off on intercourse until the female's warmed up and basically loved in the way that she wants to be loved in the beginning. And that may involve intercourse or may not. I mean, every person's different, but most women actually prefer direct clitoral stimulation, but in a much milder fashion than most men realize. Exactly. And so that they just need to be open to that coaching, and women need to be willing to share that with them. 87%. There was a university study done in England that 87% of women moan or vocalize during sex, primarily to speed the guy up and and also so he doesn't feel bad, not to hurt his feelings, so to make him feel good, basically, about himself as a lover. Well, what does that say? That's a form of faking it, and at some level, I can tell you right now, men know it. At some level, it may be unconscious, but they feel it at some level. So imagine how a man feels knowing that he can really create the space to release the full sensual potential of his female partner in ways that neither one of them even dreamed of before. Imagine what that would do for the man's self-concept as a man, as a lover, and a mate. And so when it's positioned that way, there's hope for a behavioral change that will end in that result.
And with that being said, because of the intimacy level going, what do you think a couple that is just brand new to this situation, and they come to you and they don't know which way to go, what they should do, what they should bring into the bedroom, what is the top two things you could say to them to ease them into this new transition?
Okay, well, there's some groundwork that I would get them started on, and the first thing is explore just how heart open they are in their life, not just for each other but for other people. And we would explore that and give them some tools, some ways to expand their heart, and there's some easy ways to do that. And it's something I do every day. And I work on keeping my heart open every day because that is foundational to everything. Then the next thing I talk about is remove the word performance from the bedroom and never, ever let it darken the doorway. And replace it with presence. Performance has no place in the bedroom. It's about presence. And then I then would coach the man about how different women really are when it comes to sexual response. They're vastly different than men. And then how he can override or rewire that initial urge that comes on when he gets excited so that he can then really create the space for her. And then I coach her on how to communicate effectively and compassionately with her man what really works for her. And now that's assuming she already knows. Now, a lot of women still don't know And so if that's the case, then I would coach her a bit on having her explore what is possible for her. But so that's the initial approach I would take, and then I would have them start out by not having sex at all, but just building emotional intimacy at first, and then going into spending an hour just warming each other up, and then gradually getting into the place where there's full sensual expression. That's basically how I would approach it.
And the thing is, as you said, that they're as young as 20 years old coming to you for advice. And who would have thought of waking up one day and then they have ED? Because it's different ways of getting it. Like you said, diabetes. It was another one that I read. I'm sorry.
Diabetes, hypertension.
Hypertension, that's what it is.
Stress, watching too much porn, you name it. And, and then just the not being present because of always allowing oneself to be distracted, being in the present moment. And not being in the present moment, I should say. That usually ends up being a big problem.
So when you wrote your book, you went into it because you have experience. So can you tell us a little bit about your book, where our listeners can purchase your book, and if you have another book coming out, we would like to know that also.
Well, actually, the book is not available as of yet. It will be out either late 2014 or early 2015. What they can do, however, to get much of what's already in the book without paying a dime, is go to hardlybroken.com. That's Hardly, Hardly, broken, BROKEN.com. And they can sign up for 52 weeks of intimacy tips. And these come right from the book. And they start out, the first 20-some intimacy tips are all about developing yourself as a heart-open individual and emotional intimacy with your partner first, because those are the foundations. Then we go into how to various ways of expressing maximal physical intimacy and having the kind of experience that my partner and I have. And then eventually spiritual intimacy, which is something that most people didn't even know existed, and it's extraordinarily powerful.
And your website?
Hardly Broken, Hardly, Broken, BROKEN.
Okay. I'd like to thank you, Michael, Mr. Michael Resser, for joining us at the Sugar Shack, and we'd like to bring you back along with your mate in a few weeks to get the female point of view. And once again, we have author Michael Resser. Please follow him. You will learn a lot. We've learned a lot today, and I can't wait to have you back, Michael. This is Miss J.
Thank you, Jay.
You're welcome. This is Miss J signing off from At the Sugar Shack with
Romeo,
Robbie, and the Talk Lately show will be coming up shortly. And we're out. Ooh,